Hello guys. Okay, so where to begin? I often have a hard time beginning when it comes to mostly everything. And an even harder time with ending. And given my beliefs and ideology, I guess that's a good place to start. As any. A lot of people throw the concept of infinity around. Not just when it comes to faith, but in science as well. However, I do not get the impression that any one of them has the slightest clue about what that actually means, or, deeper yet, what that actually entails and implies about our nature or the natural world. Back to my point about why I find it so hard to start or end anything. And I have struggled with this my whole life. Well, first, what does it mean to be infinite? Truly. It means quite simply that there is no beginning, no end. Just an ongoing spiral of ups and downs, ins and outs, off in every conceivable direction and various degrees on a vast spectrum. This begs the question, would something that is infinite have a hard time struggling with the concept of a finite reality? Well, what does it mean to be finite? I presume it means there is a starting, middle, and an end. Personally, I've asked many people, okay, so if everything is finite, how did it begin, first and foremost? And second, what is the end? Third, what came before that? And fourth, what happens after that? Well, they say for question one, we're not entirely sure. There are many religious ideas and scientific theories about how everything began, but no one really knows. So of course I then am like, no one really knows? Then how can you know our existence is finite? You don't know of a beginning. There's no clear evidence of such, correct? So why assert that there must be one? And so then they'll try to say, well, birth is the beginning, but we could go back and back and back and back and back and back of times before any one of us personally existed, so how can birth be the beginning? It might be a fixed point in time where you personally seemingly began, but it's not now. It's not like how everything began. And if all life is connected in a way, which something begat another, can we really ever say that that's when we were that when we were born is where we even personally began? No, right. So then where is the evidence for a beginning to anything or any of us? Nowhere to be found, it seems. If it just keeps going back and back and back and back until we have no knowledge or record of it ever even occurring. Now, the second question, most people usually jump right to the punch. It's simple, really. They say, when we die. So I say, well, okay, but don't others go on after us long after we die? So they say, okay, I mean when all things die. And I say, well, how do you know all things will die out? I'm not saying that everyone doesn't eventually die, but if things create more things and we are those things and those things go on creating more things after we die, how can you say that everything will all just die and stop going on at some point? You don't know that, right? None of us do. Okay, but so far, the evidence for all things in existence that ever were and that will ever be have no beginning and no ending to any of them in any true sense. And for the third, what came before all this? If it's nothing, then please explain to me, if you could, how nothing begat something. And even the most intelligent scientist can't answer this question. And if, say, it was some God being, how did that being come into being? Also, if something existed before the start, that's not a starting point, i.e. not finite. If you can say, well, God is infinite, then why can we not also, as an extension of this being, also be infinite? And if we are infinite, what need is there of a divine being? Seeing as we all are divine then. Fourth question, people generally say nothing, in which case I will refer you to go back to points 1, 2, and 3, mainly 2, for those of you who are curious. And others say, oh, some afterlife, or they mention some Armageddon type thing, but that's not a true end. If you go on living somewhere else as yourself or someone else, is it an end? No. So conclusion being, everything based on the evidence and this critical analysis, everything is infinite, and therefore everything is divine. So I will be going over a lot more of those in the future, guys. Going more into depth about that. Those are just my thoughts on a lot of what I personally believe. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of Natty Features Everything. And I hope that you guys will subscribe and share my channel with your friends. And feel free to give suggestions of topics and other fun stuff for me to do with my channel and, in the future if you like. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. Natty out!